Today on the workbench I have a Athearn ready to roll. It's a C&O GP35. So this thing is DCC ready, and we're going to get into it. And what I've got for this, I've got a Decoder Buddy. This is the version 5 Decoder Buddy. I've got an ESU 21 pin version 5 sound decoder, and then I've got a Soundtrax mini cube speaker that we're going to put in. There's the part number for that, if you can see that, 810154. This is one of their new ones that has the soldering pads on the speaker itself. So let's tear this thing apart and get into it and see what we can do. I'm going to put this little protective piece back in here while I take some of this apart. We'll pull out the screws on the coupler. I'll change those couplers out too. Put KDs on them. So there's our couplers out, and that just slides right apart. So, okay. So this thing's a little different than, I've been doing some protos, and basically the proto uses the same drive. These are picking up off of, these are like the old Blue Box. The pickups are right there. I'll have to pull the motor out and isolate the motor. Well, actually I won't have to, since this is DCC ready. So kind of looking here. Let's see. Should get some good sound out of this. This one has see-through fans on it. What I hope to do is set that speaker right in here. Actually, be better back here. Let's look at this thing a little closer here. Wonder where they're picking up. Yeah, we are going to have to isolate this motor. This looks like they're picking up off of Now, let's do this. We won't speculate, we'll just start tearing this thing apart. Pull our track pickups off. These are our lights, and I'm betting they're 1.5 volt bulbs. There, I dropped that. If they're 1.5 volt bulbs, I may end up changing them out, putting some LEDs in. There, we can move our shell out of the way. So now we've got our pickups out of the way. Trying to look in here to see how this board is connected on here. We've got one motor pickup. There's our other one, our other motor pickup. So this thing is isolated. Okay. That's not the motor pickup, I mean. This is the other track pickup. So there's that. Now I'm going to pull this motor out. It has 4 screws in it, so I won't have to upgrade the motor mounts. I just want to check to make sure that the motor is isolated. It should be, since this is DCC ready. I know I keep saying that, but I'm going to check it because I don't want to ruin a decoder. And of course, bigger screwdriver there. Pop this cap off. Can't seem to get that off. Hate using that screwdriver like that, especially one of my good ones. Use one of these crappy ones. Well, good Lord. All I want to do is get that up there to where I can pull a drive shaft out and get that motor out of there. Of course, I guess I could do it like that. There we go. What a mess. Okay, there, my motor mounts fell out. Okay. It's close in there. I don't like that connector in there. I'll take that off. Solder a wire there. Pull this board off. See how you don't want to be too hard with that. You'll lose that spring out of them brushes. Okay. I haven't done one of these ones like this. I've done the older style Athearns. But this one's getting its the other part of the power from this clip for the motor. So that would be the, let's see, the top side should be the positive side. And this bottom is the negative side. So, but I'll save this and I can always put it in something else if I want to. I do have another V4 decoder with 8-pin plug in it. I could have stuck it in this, but I wanted to try this Decoder Buddy in this. So that'll end up replacing that. Pull that off. And in here, just for a little bit of added security, we'll put some Kapton tape. Clean that bottom up with some alcohol. That way we'll make sure that the tape sticks. That'll take any of the oil off of it, if there is any. So that's that. Get a piece of Kapton tape. This will be a fairly lengthy video. I'm guessing about 2 hours worth. Back in there. piece and put in the front. Q-tip. Push that down. So there's that. The motor mounts out of the way. Put the lid back on the rubbing alcohol before I knock that over. Move that, get that out of the way. I need to solder a couple of wires on here. Turn the soldering iron on. Let's see, how do I want to set this? When I set this back in here, there's the motor mounts on this side. You can see them there. Now the difference between the version 5 and the previous version, the version 5 has more functionality to it, more lighting functions, I guess. The other one, these are all, this piece right here that has individual functions on it. Let me set this down here, get this out of the way for a second. I'll zoom in on this. A little more here. Oh. Okay. Like I say, this is the version 5 Decoder Buddy. Alright, so we've got our motor mounts over here, or pickups. But right here where you see individual functions, on the previous version, this was one bar for your positive side, or the common side, and this one is 2 on the previous version. It's 1 bar. So you can just solder everything. Now this one, and I haven't really looked at this yet. These are all negative on this one. So that is a difference. And then up here you have your common pads, and here's common pads. So there are some differences in these, or in the two, and I do have another video where I put a version 4 in, or previous version. I don't think it's labeled as a V4, but it is the previous version. But anyway, let's get back to this one. So that's the subtle differences between the two. More lighting functions in this one, which I really don't need for this locomotive, because I'm just going to do the headlights, and that's about it. Headlights, yeah. So let's zoom back out here, and we'll get back to this. Let's see. Oh, I need to get some wire, solder some connections on. So get some gray and Okay. And this is PSU wire, the nice flexible 36 gauge wire, 51946. That's the gray anyway, and I've got 4 different colors here. But I'm going to take and solder. Not going to solder to the top or the bottom, solder to the end. See if I can. Well, I was hoping that'll work. So there's that one. And there's that. And all I've done there is just taken and tinned those. Now let me get another Q-tip here. Clean off the residual. Get that flux off of there. It'll make a better job. Okay. I don't think I got it all. Okay, so now on the bottom I need a piece of gray, and I'll just cut this 4 or 5 inches long. Put the cap back on the alcohol. And let's see. Now I've stripped that wire. Just about a 1/16 of an inch is really all. Because when I heat it up, it will melt back just a little bit. So there, I've fluxed that, tinned it, and it's still that small. So let me okay, so there's my gray. Now, I need a piece of orange about the same size. The same process, I'll just take and strip just a little bit of that off. And there's just a little bit. Little flux. There it's tinned. Okay. There's our motor wires. Now we can go ahead put our mounts back on. They just go in like that. Pull this back over here. Hopefully I won't have as much trouble putting, I've already lost a motor mount. There's that one. Okay. All right, there's our motor back in. Get some couple of screws here. That way we won't have to worry about it falling out. It'll be one of those days, I guess. Remagnetize my screwdriver. As soon as I get it close to the thing with the screwdriver, comes right apart. Okay. All right, there's that. So there's our wires for our motor. Now we just need to figure out what we're going to do to mount the decoder buddy here. Say more than likely it will be a piece of double-sided tape the length of this. Yeah. That's really all we'll need. I probably ought to mention that the pads on this end are track pickups and speaker mounts. Both sides, the 4 pads on a Decoder Buddy. It's just fun to say, Decoder Buddy. Now I think I've looked on Shapeways. I've never bought any, but I believe that there's someone out there that makes a mount that you can lay on this Athearn motor. I think. But for now, since we don't have one, we'll use our double-sided tape method. But before we do that, I'm going to clean this off. That'll give the tape a good surface to stick to. And it's fairly thick, so it should go over that hump. Well, maybe I ought to. I'm going to do that. I just happen to have that laying right here. Piece of styrene. Clean that off. And let's see. Put some plastic strut on there. This will give this decoder a really solid place to sit. Now let's see. I need to put a new blade in my X-Acto knife. Let's see, here they are. So I can cut a new piece of tape. So there we've got a nice fresh blade. Clean that off again. Cut that. There's our double-sided tape. So we've got that. I'm going to run some alcohol across the bottom of that Decoder Buddy just to get it cleaned up a little bit. And let's see, I'm going to set that back that way as far as I can. Get that off of there. Okay, and then it'll come off, it's no big deal, but the cleaner the better. Be able to set that decoder right on there. And I could actually use the two this one's a little short. Not much. But I think I'm gonna put a new wire on this. It's got a nick in it right there anyway. So that I can, this wire is our left pickup. which is the conductor side. So it'll go over here. And I'll change that wire out also. And it should be, okay, it should be black. And then this one, I'm going to change it out to red. And I do have black and red ESU wire. So, got a couple of pieces of that. Yep. So there's my couple of pieces of black. And then I've got some red here that I'll use on this side. I know it looks orange, but there is a little difference there to it. Now, just cut that off. Cut that off. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to get out a little wire brush here. One of these days I'm going to oil this chair. Okay. So, I don't know why I cut that so long. Nope. Flux back out. That fluxed up. Keep the tip on there clean. Get that hot. Turn the soldering gun up a little bit there. That did it. Okay. Now I'll turn that back down. Tip off. Actually, I'm going to turn that back up till I get that wire on there. They can get up to temperature. There's that side. Strip another wire off. A little flux. Keep this one hot. Okay. Clean some of the flux off of that. Okay. Get our track pickups hooked up. There's one. Like I say, I don't strip that much wire off of these because it will melt some of the wire back. And we'll pull this chip off. That way it'll be out of my way. this up. There's that side of our track. Now we'll pull this wire off because it is broken. Change it out to the red that it's supposed to be. Get that, we'll tin it up while I got it in my hand. So there's that. See if I can break the solder loose. While I've still got it hot. There's that side. So now I can take, and I'll only have to use one side of it here. Not too far away from being ready to test this. So there's that. Now I'll hook up the motor. Get that out from under that wire. Feed it through over there on that side. I'll feed this gray one through to the other side. Okay. Just kind of pulling that wire up around. That way it'll be up on the bottom there, away from everything. Let's turn this around. Now, the way this reads, this back should be the gray side. So what we'll do, cut this off. leave ourselves enough we'll strip this one a little longer because I'm going to feed it up through. Up through that hole. Get that fluxed in there. There's that one. Same thing with our orange. Tweezers out. Put a little more on that. Okay, so now we've got our track pickups on. Got our motor wires on. I'm going to tuck those back in. And I may just trying to get this tucked around here. Okay. I may put a little glue on that. Little contact cement, or just to keep it down out of the way. But for now, pull the protectors off of the. They've made these pins a little longer too on this version of the Decoder Buddy. So let's I know there's no lights in it or anything yet, but I'm going to dig out, get the decoder out here. And we'll plug it in. And let's see, let me zoom in on this. See how much farther I can go here. Too far. Okay, so you can see there's a little notch left out right here. That lines up with this notch that there's no pins. So I've got that down. All right. I'm ready to set this up on here. I'm just going to check it for motion right now, just to see what we have. Let me get out. Get my other camera here. Actually, it's my phone. We'll get a side view of this thing. As I set it up on the test stand.
All right, good morning.
And that was a live feed from the York Train Show, Train World. MTH out here. So let's see. Zoom back out. So there's that. I'm gonna shut this one off and then I'll put a side view up here. Okay, get you set up with the side view. This should be set to number 3. I don't have any sound right now. I'm just looking for motion. So there we have forward motion. That thing is quiet. Actually, I told you wrong. That's forward motion. I had it in reverse. But boy, it does run quiet. That really surprises me. That's speed step 28 right there. So this will be a good place to take a break now. We at least know that it works. So turn that off. It's got a lot of momentum built into it. So all right, there's that. When we come back, we'll be looking down at it again, and we'll continue. All right, we've made it back here, and I had to make a change. When I had you on the side view there, I thought it was running forward and reverse in the correct directions, but it wasn't. I had the 2 motor wires well, let me get this over here. Had the two motor wires in the wrong places on the decoder buddy. So I ended up, I moved it, changed the wires around. Okay. So now I guess we're at the point where we're going to put in our speaker. And this is our Soundtrack's speaker. It is 810154. And it comes with the soldering pads on it. Now what I've done, I took a couple pieces of styrene and glued to it. And what that'll do is that'll set basically right in there up above that running gear, and I'll have it all the way back. That way I can put a piece of double-sided tape on this little bit of weight back here, and it won't interfere with anything. We'll still have all of our motion. Shell will go down on it. So let's cut a little piece of, well, actually first thing I want to do, get a Q-tip out here and some alcohol, clean that off back there. That's where our double-sided tape will sit to hold that on. Put that down there. That'll give that time to dry. Put my double-sided tape on there. That up out of the way. Get out my knife here. Pull the backing off. So there's that. I'll get this in here, and I should have maybe moved that down a little bit, that piece of tape, but that's fine. At least this way I don't have to just rely on a piece of double-sided tape to hold the speaker on. It's got some stability here. Let me pull this out here. You can see that that's got full motion. So let's, now that we've got that on there, turn my soldering iron back on. I'm going to use these two pieces of wire off of the decoder itself. Just take them off after that heats up. And then I'll solder them right to those two terminals there and back here. So one. Get this other one. And I know you can't see that, but that's kind of in an awkward place. So let me put just a touch of flux on there. It's a whole lot easier to solder that. Than it is the springs. So there's that. I will shorten those up just a little bit. I need to have that extra wire. Not a lot extra anyway. So there you can see the difference in that ESU wire and the wire that's on this. The ESU wire I could strip with my fingernails. And we'll get these tinned up. There's one. There's two. Get that flux off of there. Evidently I didn't have that one on there very well. Now the only thing we have left to do is our lights. And I'm going to use these bulbs that are in this right now. So we'll set that back here and we'll pull out this. And let me shove that back a little bit. So let me, I'm going to get this here like this. Let me zoom in on this. Yeah. Okay, now over here is our forward, and here's our reverse, and that's really all we'll be using off of this. And that does, it'll set on there that way, so I've actually got it backward. I should, if I'd have turned the decoder around, it would have been setting that way. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. The wires are long enough. So we'll use these two, the two corners, and then we'll use just our center section. Yep. We'll use our center section for one side and the two corners for the other. So let me set that in there. Hopefully I can feed these wires. These are my reverse ones. Twist that up a little better. So there's one. I'm going to solder it. So basically, we're about done. I'm going to pull back out on that a little bit because it won't focus. So there's that one. Let me trim that off. Now, we'll pull our other two out. Make sure they're twisted up good and tight to where I can get them through the hole. And that's the wrong. Yep. Okay. Now I'll solder that side up. I will say I'm not a fan of the smaller pads. Excuse me. course, the only reason I say that is because you get older, your eyesight starts to go. But I do have my magnifier. Okay, so there's that one. Now let's go to this set, the forward set. I think I'll zoom out some more. Dim in there good. Nope, I don't have it twisted up enough. Okay. Little dab of solder. There's that one. Trim some of the excess off. So now we're down to our final set of wires. Okay, so we're through there. The flux on there, we'll get that cleaned up here in a second. Okay. Turn my soldering station off. Trim that up a little bit. We'll clean it off. Get the extra flux off of it. Close the alcohol up. And I'll look through this with my magnifier. Make sure we don't have anything touching. Looks like we're good. This is one of the great things about the Decoder Buddy. My lights are up in there. I can unplug this. Let's snap this in here. So there's that. Now we'll put our decoder in. I'm just going to loosely set it on there. Well, okay, what I'll do, I'll pull my test track out here and I'll get you another side view. I want to make sure this thing works before I button it up. So let me change camera positions. Okay, got you set up here on the side. So let's see what we have. Well, there's no shorts. That's a good thing. Okay, we do have forward. See if we have any sound here. We do have sound, and I haven't loaded a program on this. This is just the generic sound. So there's no motor. Well, yes there is. I was wrong. I hit the wrong button. So we at least have sound. There's reverse. Okay, now I want to see if I have any lights. I am in the reverse direction. Get you down here. Doesn't look like I have any light there. Let me try the forward ones, unless I just had them. I don't have any light. Okay. I don't think they're on any other function. Nope. Okay, well, now we troubleshoot. Okay. Let me turn this side view off and we'll see what's going on. Okay, so not a whole lot of troubleshooting I'm going to have to do, because what I forgot is these have onboard resistors that are 2200 kilo ohms. or 2200 ohms. One of the, either way, it's 2200 ohms. And, well, wait a minute. I don't want to say 2200 ohms and that not be right. Let me get back on here and look again. 2.2, yeah, 2.2, 2200 ohms on the board. You can order them, you can special order these boards with different resistors on them. So we'll go ahead and pull that back off. So there's nothing wrong other than the fact that these are set up for LEDs. So, saying that, what I'm going to do is take these out. We'll let the soldering iron heat up. But at least we did have sound. Not a very good program, but we have sound. So we'll get this heated up. And I may have to make up some LEDs. Trying to rest my hand here. Oh goodness. Go through this the easy way. And then I'll pull them off. Alright, so we'll fool with that later. We'll end up taking our bulbs out. Hated to do that. But I guess that means it was ready for a LED upgrade. I think I've still got some monster LEDs, if I can find them. If I have those, I won't have to make up my own. Yeah. No, here they are. Now the thing about these Athearn shells is they're pretty tight. So I may have to drill that out just a touch. The back ones are fine, but I need to get this little piece of tape out of here. I say little. So now we'll start here on the back. Yep. So there's one. Get another one out here. Okay, so we've got both of them run through. Now I will fasten that with some clear, this is Goop E6000. What am I looking for here? Just something small. One of my little micro brushes. There's one micro brush with the tip removed off of it. Poke a little hole in that. This is brand new. Stinking. I forgot how much this stuff stinks. get some of this. That way that'll stick right to the shell. Not sure how long that takes to set up. It says 24 hours. So I will take a little piece of tape, there we go. There's our backlights. We'll have to put all that together. Now I'll dig two more out. Okay. Now I've got to thread that through. Probably should have done these first. That went in the bottom, but maybe I'll do it this way. Let's pull the cab off if we can, without breaking anything. The one model in the world where the handrails stick. That's not going to work. Now, hopefully, I have it up there far enough. Carving a little bit of that out. Needed just a touch more room in there. Now I know that looks terrible, but I might be able to. I've got some, there's a big cavity there. Maybe I can take one of these 3mm bulbs, put that in there. Yeah, I think that'll work better. Okay. That I can do. But I am going to change the wire on this bulb. Okay, let me turn this off. You don't need to see me do this. Okay, we're back here. I've put in my rear light. Well, it's up here. I've got the rear lights strung in there, and it's 2 LEDs. They're monster LEDs, Big Al Mayo. And then the front one, since it was so close together, I put in one 3mm bulb. And so we'll try that and see what happens. So right now we're going to try and get these hooked into the... I keep thinking I have those things twisted together, and then they come apart. Let's try that. So this is our rear. Let me set this out of the way. Our red is our common on this, so will go down through the hole here. A better way to hold this. Okay, we'll try this. There it came apart again. Whew, I tell you. This may mean it's about time to quit. Let's try that. We'll bend to that. Like to get that in that hole. And it went. Wish I could get a little farther in there. But right now, beggars can't be choosers. Went all the way through. Of course, those end ones, well, there they have the same size hole. Well, I'm going to leave it like that. Trim off the excess there. Now over to the front one. I tell you, getting to be one of those things. One more. If I have any other trouble, I'm calling it a day. Okay. Now I want to look. Okay. Should have contact all the way around there. Now we'll set it back up. Put that over there. I'll set it back up on here, and then I'll turn the camera to the side. So hang on. Okay, I've got you back to the side here. Fairly centered. Let's see if we still got our motion. Alright, we've still got forward motion. Let me see about a headlight here now. Yep. There's the front headlight. Okay. And it looks like we've got our, we've got our rear light. And I must have a little misconnection there. Okay. So we'll take care of that. We'll come back here about halfway through this. I'm putting it back together. You know, I got the lights, the troubleshooting on that. It was just a loose connection. But I'm putting KD couplers on this. And since this frame is all metal and part of the pickup is on the frame where we're picking the power up, I'm using metal couplings, but what I'm doing to isolate them is these screws that I'm putting in are a nylon screw. So I forget where I bought these at, but this will isolate the coupler from the frame. So now we've got it all set up, and I'll turn you around here and you'll be able to see the finished product. Of course, now I say finished. I don't have a sound file loaded into this yet. So, but we'll put it up on here Actually, let me turn this off right now. Alright, we'll go ahead. We'll set this up on the test track. Alright, so let's check our forward motion. Let me turn the sound on. And we'll have our crappy bell. So that's the only sound that we have on it for now. I'll turn you around here so you can see the headlight, what there is of it. That's one 3mm bulb in there. The number boards don't light up. So, and then the back is the same. Slide it around here. I don't know if I can get you around to see the back or not. May have too much junk in the way. But let me stop that. And then you can see both of our, you can't see both of them, but at least the lights do work. So, slide you back around here. But we'll get this programmed up, put a sound file in it, and then we'll bring you back. Alright, we've got our GP35 done, and I've got the program loaded into it. I've put it's a EMD 645? No, 567. EMD 567 is what it is. So let's go ahead and I'll start this up. And these are all factory settings. Hit the headlight there. You can see that. The bell. Start notching it up. So, I think that sounds pretty good. Couple more notches there. We'll start notching her down. It's got a lot of momentum built into it. But anyway, there's our completed project with the sound file loaded into it. So, just wanted to give you that. But thanks for watching.